Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently 61,158, down 0.11%. Ethereum 4481, down 0.88%. My goal is to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, and also gain real wealth in the process. I've hidden knowledge gems throughout this video. Unless you watch to the end, you'll miss them. See how many you can find. Rule 774, master yourself to master the market. This is all about combating self-sabotage. With self-sabotage, very intelligent people can blow their accounts up simply because they don't feel worthy to receive gains. This would never be a conscious thing, it would be a subconscious thing. But knowing that you are worthy and unique, that you deserve kindness, love, meaning and every success in life can help to eliminate self-sabotage, not just inside the markets, but inside your life. It's always important to set a really positive life trend. Just as cryptos have a trend, so does everybody's life. Putting your life trend towards the direction of real wealth makes a lot of sense. Real wealth is all about inner and outer peace. Now, why is that important? Why is peace important? Many people live in a constant state of conflict. It's wearing and draining, not just for themselves, but for those around them. When people don't have inner and outer peace, they feel very stressed with life. It's a very bad situation to live in constant conflict. Having inner and outer peace makes life very worthwhile, as does kindness and authenticity, fulfillment and meaning, empathy and love, generosity and selflessness. These are not weak components of life. They take a lot of strength to carry out. Real wealth is much more than just financial wealth. Financial wealth is critically important, of course, and so is courage and honor, and all the foundations of real wealth. Many people feel that if they acquire lots and lots of financial wealth, real wealth will come later. It doesn't have to be that way. Real wealth can come first or at the same time. It's not a choice. You can have both. In life, we can have many expectations about how we want our life to progress. Life has its own path. When you trade expectation for appreciation, the world becomes a really beautiful place. Acknowledging the good that you have in your life already is really the foundation for all abundance. Appreciating others creates happiness, and of course appreciating yourself as well. We live in a harsh world, but that doesn't mean that people don't appreciate kindness and compassion. In actual fact, appreciation is the foundation of kindness and love. If you would like more love in your life, simply increase the level of appreciation for others. I'd like to express my appreciation and my love for an amazing community that we've managed to put together on YouTube and across social media. I just want to say thank you everyone. It's just such an incredible community. We're on the path together, thousands of people from all around the world towards real wealth. It's just fantastic. Turning to the KS model, which is a crypto technical trading model based on institutional price psychology. This model was introduced on May the 25th and predicted 486,000 for Bitcoin's peak this cycle. The description or the link to the Medium article is in the description of this video. You can see here what I've basically done is to go through and explain the foundations of the KS model. It's a really interesting model. I think that you will find it very fascinating. There's a couple of things that we can get out of the KS model. Before the KS model, people looked at Bitcoin's price as though Bitcoin's price was all that mattered. In fact, the halving cycles directly impact Bitcoin's price and will do so until 2040 in all probability. Also, people looked at Bitcoin's price and would compare the psychology of the bull market, which is overwhelming optimism, to the negativity of the bear market, which is overwhelming negativity. When people understand that all price is psychological, they will not make these comparisons. The other thing that the KS model brings out is that the cycle lengths between different halving cycles, such as the 2012 halving cycle, the 2016 halving cycle, and of course the 2020 halving cycle, which we're in now, are all increasing in length. In fact, the 2012 halving cycle was 367 days. That's this blue area here. The 2016 halving cycle lasted 526 days here. We've just got those positions in the current cycle to make everything easier to understand. What happened was people predicted that the 2016 cycle would last exactly as long as the 2012 cycle, and it lasted 43% more. We do expect a lengthening cycle this particular cycle. The other thing to note is that black swan events, I've seen so many people, so many intelligent people look at this price action. For example, this was the US liquidity crisis and Black Thursday on the 12th of March 2020, where all the markets, including Bitcoin and the stock market, crashed globally. What people do is that they actually insert this as normal price action. It is not normal price action, it's a meltdown. But I see it so many times. As a former lecturer in first and second year stats, these outlying variables must be normalized. We can see that we've had various issues in the market, even just recently. These also need to be normalized. Just looking at price action will mislead people. That is also why the KS model predicts the estimated market peak at around the 25th of May 2022. I also mentioned previously that the halving cycle, I believe, will be continuing at least till 2040. A lot of people point to miner revenues decorrelating from Bitcoin. They feel like they look at these particular sharps and peaks and spikes with miner revenue and simply say, well, miner revenue is decoupling from Bitcoin. What's happening here is they're just not looking at it on a logarithmic scale. We can see that miner revenue is correlating strongly with Bitcoin's price action. The crypto market is a highly speculative market. In fact, even the stock market is highly speculative from time to time, as we saw in the year 2000. What typically happens in all markets, they get to a period of increased euphoria, as we see here in these exponential blow-off tops. This is the characterization of the crypto market. We have euphoria and we have capitulation. At the moment, we're nowhere near either of them. We're heading up towards euphoria, but I believe that is quite a way off and a little bit longer off than a lot of people think. Of course, we will always keep our eye on Bitcoin's price action and the entire crypto market. If the peak is earlier than May of 2022, we'll be right on it. We can see Bitcoin, the number of new addresses starting to increase. We haven't seen that exponential ramping off of addresses just yet. We can also see that the total transfer volume to exchanges, wow, this is a tongue twister for me, is really, really low. When things are very low, it shows that Bitcoin is about to take off. This is a really positive sign. But the path to the top is not a simple one. When we look back here at the 2016 cycle, you can see this logarithmic progression, and it looks pretty easy, doesn't it? In fact, it wasn't. The 2016 bull run had very substantial increases in price, but 20, 30, 40%, even 50% decreases. And that is just in Bitcoin. The beloved alts that we're trading. When Bitcoin comes down 40%, alts can come down far more. This is the important thing to understand. with alts, when Bitcoin is going up, it takes the entire crypto market up with it. When Bitcoin comes down, it tends to take the entire market down with it. We say no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. This is absolutely true long term, and especially when Bitcoin decides to plummet, that takes the entire market with it. But it's the reverse as well. When Bitcoin goes up, it takes all the alts with it as well. That's rule 45. No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. Over the many months we've been doing this together, we can see that this is 100% correct. We can see some alts momentarily escape Bitcoin's gravity, only to be crushed again, either positively or negatively. From a long-term perspective, Fidelity Investments predicts about $1 million per Bitcoin from 2026 onwards and 10 million per Bitcoin from 2030 onwards. It's really important to have this background information before we dive in and do the technical analysis on Bitcoin. We can see Bitcoin currently trading at 60,920. It is below this one support that is acting as resistance. Hence, the next level of support is this line coming up to around where Bitcoin's price action is. We can also see that we've got resistance above, two levels of resistance. Now, what does this mean? It's the weekend. What happens on the weekend? Price can get pushed around very, very easily. It's the nature. We also have a number of negative factors out in the market, but we also have a lot of positives as well. Brazil's parliament is considering a new law to pay employees in Bitcoin. Wow. November the 5th, Bitcoin miner Argo is spending 1.5 to 2 billion on new mining facilities in Texas. Go Texas. November the 4th, India's largest mobile payments platform Paytm is considering Bitcoin services, and you've probably heard about Australia's launch into crypto, with Australia's largest bank, CBA, the Commonwealth Bank of Australia, allowing Australians to have direct access to Bitcoin through their banking app. This is really quite major. Australia is not that forward thinking of a country, but in crypto it's doing incredibly well. In Australia we have a thing called the tall poppy syndrome. As an Australian, I understand the culture. We tend to tear down things. It's very unlike the American economy, which loves to build things up. They're very different. I guess Australia is probably midway between Europe and America in terms of attitude, but we are adopting Bitcoin and crypto at a rate which is just phenomenal. Go Aussie, go. The important thing to remember, there are headwinds out there. We just simply trade the chart that we view. We don't panic. There's always positive and negative news stories out there. We just let the charts tell us what they're doing. And across the weekend, we know that things can get a little bit turbulent because of low trading volumes. We're always aware of the risk, and we've made a decision in advance of everything. For example, if Bitcoin goes down, for example, it goes down to 52 or it just collapses down, what would you do? If Bitcoin rallies up to $80,000, suddenly what would you do? That's all about having an in advance probabilistic strategy together. That's what we always talk about. The pluses and the minuses. We're very, very balanced inside the community. Looking at the Bitcoin stablecoin supply ratio, SSR oscillator, we can see stablecoins are coming into the market and being deployed into Bitcoin. This is a really good sign. This means we expect higher upward momentum for the crypto market. Looking at investment substitutability, we can see the S&P 500, the proxy for stocks, up 34%, gold is down 7%, and Bitcoin is up 312%. Drilling into that further, what do we see? The fear gauge, the VIX, is starting to bounce from that very low level of 15 up. Now, what does that mean? When more fear gets into the market, People are getting worried. Why would they be worried? Look at the NASDAQ 100. It's just shot up the wall. What do we know about this? Price is always moving in a wave. It goes up and it goes down. It goes up and down. We would expect a retracement. This is what we're getting a signal of. Now, how can we confirm that? The US dollar currency index, the DXY, has bounced off this support line going up. We can see that Bitcoin is consolidating after a massive move up. Looking at bond prices, they've hit resistance, but they're rallying. Bond yields are hitting support. What do we notice about gold? Gold is starting to come up. And what do we notice about oil? It is decreasing. This basically means that professional investors are expecting the major indexes to just retrace, and that is completely normal. That doesn't signify any form of problem. That's just normal price action. But of course, the news and the media will make a big deal about it. It's just normal price action. Looking a little bit more deeply at this chart, what I would suggest is coming back on the NASDAQ 100 to retest this line just above the previous high would be more than likely. We're starting to get up to a level of resistance. Coming back to form a higher low would be insanely good, and we don't want markets to get too overextended because they tend to melt down if they retrace under those circumstances. What we really want is to see a retracement. Now, what happens potentially to crypto when we see that retracement? I believe Bitcoin will take off again. Just to explain what I mean, as the NASDAQ 100 gets up to this resistance, I believe it will hit the resistance, or it could do it in the next trading session and start to come back and retrace, forming a higher low. As that happens, I believe funds will flow from the stock market into the crypto market. Money is always looking for the best return, and that will drive Bitcoin's price up. And we've seen through the on-chain metrics as well, Bitcoin's price is really well supported. We also have the narrative that Bitcoin is digital gold. As gold is breaking out, I would assume the correlation between gold and Bitcoin to strengthen over time. Turning to Ethereum's technical action, we can see ETH trading at 44.61 is just below this resistance line and below this resistance as well. Now, what do we know? It is the weekend. Weekend, traditionally very light volume and very easy to move the price around. Doesn't take a lot of money to move price substantially on the weekends. That's why we say the weekends can be pretty volatile. Now, when we look at this, what are we expecting here? The balance of probability is that Ethereum could make its way down a little bit more. But notice this, the relative strength index, or the indicator, the RSI, is starting to gather positive momentum. It's a little bit undecided, but it has crossed over this once resistance. Yeah, you can do support and resistance on indicators too. Now, what do we anticipate? As a community, we know that the overall trend of crypto is very strong and positive. We would expect if we get any long tail rejections that they'll just be rejections and crypto will repair itself. It will start to rally upwards. Key support levels on Ethereum: 44.37, 43.75, 42.03, 41.66 and 40.30. Let's have a look at putting opportunities on our radar using Rule 185. Of course, we always use Rule 444. Ignore any tips, advice, and marketing. Just always do your own research. Make sure that you believe in whatever it is you're getting into, and you believe in the long-term sustainability of it as well. Of course, unless you're just in and out, but that depends on what sort of investor and trader you are. Just do that sort of definition beforehand. If you're an investor and you want to hold for the long term, just please try and make sure whatever you're getting into can stand the test of time. Professional traders and investors look for highly liquid and stable cryptos. Now, what do I mean by highly liquid? With Bitcoin, you could put an order in for 100,000 US dollars and have it filled in just a couple of seconds. On the low alts, you could never do that. Now, on the low alts, you could put an order in, for example, to sell $1,000 and just not get it filled with the price, without the price moving adversely in your unfavored direction. That's why high liquidity exchanges are very important, such as Binance. Now, when we look at Bitcoin, we can see Bitcoin is just consolidating at support. Really, nothing to see here, no big deal. Ethereum is doing the same, although it has a little bit more room to come back and test that support. What do we notice about Binance Coin? Binance Coin in the past has led the charge for the crypto market, and that actually makes a lot of sense. When we think about Binance as the world's largest crypto exchange, BNB, Binance Coin, is used in so many different transactions. This could be a sign of health in the crypto market. People want to participate. Now, what's happening to Cardano? Oh, Charles, what are you doing? You're having a birthday, but your present isn't arriving yet. Come on, Cardano, get it together. XRP is making its way up. It's just coming back and retracing. Very healthy and very normal price action. Solana is making its way up. Very beautiful chart there. DOGE is coming back to support, but it hasn't managed to hold it. It's just a little bit under resistance. If we look at DOT, like Sol, is very, very nice technically. This is a really beautiful chart. Inside our community, we seek to understand Rule 138. All investors become traders anytime they buy or sell. Investors have the power and the strength of holding long term. That's something that a lot of traders can benefit from. Traders have the acuity to get in and out very quickly. That's a skill that investors could learn to their advantage as well. Combining the power and the strengths of both is what we're about inside the Crypto Trading KS community. Let's have a look at the next 8. These are community favorites. One thing that I'd like to draw your attention to is Nexo. Nexo has actually managed to break out, hit a level of resistance it's seeking to get through. There's a degree of upward support here. It's just wobbling around at the moment. One thing that we do tend to see, when things start to rally, they will hit a previous level of resistance. If they are strong enough to overcome that, they'll go up. And we can just keep our eye on this particular price. Now, what am I saying? Maybe you're not in Nexo at all, and you don't need to be. This is simply a chart pattern. This is part of your pattern recognition. Keep your eye on the concept of something rallying and seeing what it does next. I just wanted to draw that to your attention. Now, when we have a look at Algo, we see this really beautiful basing pattern, consolidation, and it's above resistance. That's a fantastic pattern. We're having a look at SHIB. SHIB is making its way up. Looking at Luna, this very, very nice support over resistance, one to watch. This is what we do as traders. We look to enter early before, for example, with SHIB, we had all of these breakouts. As a trader, you look to enter around here, and then you do something that is not quite common in the investment community. You actually add to your position on the way up. That's something that investors typically don't do. They just want to buy the bottom and then just hang on. Traders buy on the way up, especially the first major pullbacks. That's another thing that you can learn. As an investor, it will hold you in very high profitability. When we look at Bancor is making its way up. Very solid support. The other thing you want to bear in mind, if you have 1,000 alts or maybe 200 alts in your portfolio, they can become very difficult to manage. A lot of fun to look at, but hard to manage. And then you may have signs that you need to get out, but that are kept buried because you've got too many things to look at. Just focusing on key ones is very good. A person reached out on Twitter, a member of the community, and said, Ken, I'm new to crypto. Should I just get into Bitcoin, or should I do alts, or well, I don't know what I should do? It's a very, very fair question. The first thing you should do is define yourself. Are you an investor or a trader? Are you a gambler? Are you a meme hunter? What are you doing in the market? If you're going after meme coins, for example, like SHIB and DOGE and so many other ones, yes, they definitely attract new investors to the space, but generally there's a high concentration of whales who are always looking to dump out of the stock. Sometimes the investors will write it up as high as they possibly can. But the interesting thing is to just be careful. That's why I would suggest looking at ecosystem plays such as Solana and DOT, ADA, Binance Coin, Bitcoin, Ethereum. These are very good. Sometimes you get meme coins that just take over the imagination of the crypto market, but that imagination will have to be backed up by real world applications. And if those real world applications come, they stop being a meme coin and they start being a main street coin. We'll cover this a lot more in depth in the Crypto Trading KS Masterclass. Now, what are we looking at here? AVAX moving up quite nicely. We've discussed Nexo. Potentially we're going to go in one of two ways. The probability is that we will retrace. The minor probability is that we'll keep going. There is a level of resistance here. We just need to watch this support line very, very closely. It will play out. Litecoin, we see Litecoin making its way up. BAL is doing really nicely. We're always looking for signs of strength. Signs of strength are critical in the crypto market. Turning to Veracity, VRA, we can see VRA is just a little bit below resistance, just making its way. We need to keep our eye on this. We don't want it to lose that one support. If it does, it will come down to around this level, but it could be a long tail rejection. We're just aware over the weekend things can happen. Icon is coming back to a level of support, and we can look at Holo. Remember how we were saying, trying to detect the anatomy of pumps. Sometimes they go in several stages. You can gain a much better appreciation by looking at so many different tokens. That's why we go through so many, to help you recognize patterns. Holo is making its way up. The chart looks quite good. VET, VeChain, we can see just VeChain is just breaking above this once resistance. That is a very good sign for VET. Multivac tried to get above but was rejected. It's lost this level of support. It's just turned to resistance. We can see 1 inch consolidating at the moment. Keep our eye on this one. It's consolidating underneath resistance. If we look at Loopring, LRC, we can see Loopring has done a rally up, wobbled around a bit, formed a higher low, really gone to up to a level of resistance, retrace back to another level of support, and gone again. These are very explosive things. Looking at these sort of alts can really make an incredible difference to your overall portfolio, but please bear in mind the volatility is very, very high. Looking at Cartesi is coming back to a level of support. Having a look at Comp is getting over resistance, and it's finding support. It's looking quite healthy, as is MATIC. Also, Atom, Cosmos is doing quite well. It's just consolidating at the moment. Filecoin is doing its best to turn around. Go Filecoin. Storage, look at this pump and then the subsequent dump. We have a level of support playing in here, and it will come into effect around the $1.55 mark. Looking at Seacoin similarly had a very big pump and a very near instant dump as well. It's just below support at the moment. FTX token, we can see it coming back to a level of support, and Sushi is actually looking quite good above this level of once resistance turned to support, and it's also getting into a bit of a cradle. We love the cradles, they really work. Harmony 1 is really well supported along this line, and we look at Phantom also has a lot of support where it's currently at in terms of price. Theta, lots of nice support under here around its current price, is looking quite good. HBAR is seeking to consolidate for a takeoff. This is looking really quite positive. The other thing that you want to do when you get into any cryptos, try and limit the number that you have. It's easy to say, oh, there's opportunities everywhere, I'll just go buy everything. And everybody has a limited amount of money. So focusing on what makes the most sense for you and picking at least 5 but no more than 10 is a really good idea. It gets really hard to manage if you've got more than 10. HNT, we can see, has formed a higher low and is bouncing. This is really nice. Buying those pullbacks is a great idea. BAT, basic attention token, has come down, well, it's rallied really nicely and come back to find a level of support. We need to see if this level holds, but it hasn't pumped and dumped like a lot of the others. That's why you need to have so much awareness over what different charts actually do. You can start to get a feel as to what will happen. EGLD is making its way up and looking very nice. NIR is about to lose this support. Hopefully it won't, but it's the weekend, so we need to keep our eye on how things play out. Looking to T-Fuel, it's making its way up, got a lot of support here. As a professional trader, you will not be interested in buying at the lowest possible price. What you're interested in buying is the best confirmation. Looking at the graph is moving up, but it's got a bit of resistance under play at the moment. Aave was a superstar when Bitcoin was dropping recently. Many people reached out and said, wow, look at Aave, it's going to the moon. It's defying Bitcoin's gravity. And Bitcoin came in and said, no, you're not. Bang. And this is what happens all the time. But Aave is consolidating. It's very nice. This shows this spike is an intention spike. It shows Aave wants to get going, but it's just not there yet. BitTorrent, BTT, we can see coming back to a level of support. Rune, we can see this really big pump and then finding a higher low and going up, but losing that particular main support line. It's going into a secondary. I'm drawing this to your attention to help with Nexo. RLC, we can see RLC hit a level of resistance and then backed off. What do we see is going to happen here? It wants to find a higher low. This is a low, this is a low, but this low is higher than that low. That's what we're after. IOTEX rallied very beautifully, hit a level of resistance and backed off. In all probability, it will try to find support around its current price. That's just what the probabilities tell us, but that is a pretty steep sell-off, so let's just keep in mind that that could go a little bit lower, especially because it's the weekend. KSM, look at this clustering of price action. That's looking very favorable. These next 8 are the Metaverse tokens. If you had to only pick one out of these, please let me know which one you would pick if you were a trader. You might be an investor at the moment and have never thought of trading. That is fantastic if that's the case. Just think about it as a trader. What do traders want to do? They want to ride a wave as long as they can ride it, and they want there to be a lot of cross reinforcement or confluence of indicators and price action, especially price action. Price will tell you everything. Indicators are often lagging. Let's have a look at Mana. What is Decentraland doing? It's shot up really nicely, hasn't it? And it's coming back to form a higher low. What do we notice? There's a lot of power in Mana. This is something not to dismiss. Axie Infinity AXS, look at this incredible support getting above structured consolidation. Ooh, looks pretty nice. What about Engine Coin? Look at this very nice level of support that's being obeyed with positive air. Nice. SLP, what can we see here? SLP went bananas and just pumped up and then dropped. Notice SLP's strength and compare it to Mana's strength. Different, isn't it? This is a critical thing to keep your eye on. Sand. When we look at Sand, we can see just such an incredible rallying in price. And as we go into Sand, we can see that the initial support line has just only recently been broken. What does that mean? It means that we would anticipate probabilistically a retracement to probably around $2. Now, how's YGG going? YGG, Yield Guild Games, is just consolidating around. Alice is making its way up. And what is Chili's up to? Chili's did a big pump and came back and is forming a higher low at the moment. With all of that analysis in mind, please let me know, as a trader, what would be the only one that you would seek to pick, and more importantly, why? Please let me know in the comments section. We have such a fantastic community. Everybody is discussing things all the time and helping each other. I'd like to thank all the very kind and generous community members who reached out and bought me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/cryptotradingks. I'd like to thank especially Jan. Thank you, Jan, about your comment on EQ. It was brilliant, as you are, Jan. Thank you for all your comments. Sayu Hako, I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you so much. Kendor Kid, thank you. KS Student, thank you, my friend, and for your generosity. Julie, thanks so much. Julie, that's really lovely of you. You bring calmness to my day. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Julie. That's very nice. Each month, I show my appreciation for the very generous community members who've reached out and bought me a coffee. What I do, is I just put a post, just a special coffee club video together for the coffee club members. To get to those particular video posts, you just click on the post section and you will see them if you're a coffee club member. What I basically do, I just try to give you a little bit of an edge in the market to help you to look at something through different eyes. It's just my way of saying thank you for your generosity in buying me a coffee. Thank you so much, everyone. A lot of community members have expressed interest in the upcoming Crypto Trading KS Masterclass, which goes to a deep dive on trend, a deep dive on timing, and introduces the trigger process for the first time. The trigger process is when to buy, what to buy, how to sell, all sorts of techniques that I've acquired through 30 plus years in financial markets. If you would like to receive a very substantial masterclass discount, you can just reach out to me at ken@kenstanfield.com and express your interest. Stanfield has 2 D's in it. Ken likes to stand in a field. Hey, why not? You got to stand somewhere. Stand strong. I've done my best to respond to everyone, but I've noticed a couple of bounced emails when I did respond. If you haven't got a response back, please just give me a gentle reminder if you like, and you can send something through and I'll respond as soon as I can. There's so many beautiful things to be grateful for every day. If we start and end each day in gratitude, gratitude for the many wonderful things that have happened. There's always something beneficial to find in each day. Sometimes the days get dark and we do know that, but generally there's some little ray of sunshine somewhere. If you can just find it and appreciate it, it makes your life so much better. Sometimes it's hard to find something, but we can always appreciate others. Reaching out and showing appreciation is just a lovely thing to do. For example, if you have kids, you could show your appreciation to your children. That's always beautiful, and kids really need it. If you're married or you have a significant other, appreciating what they do is just a wonderful thing. If you have friends, you can just appreciate what they do. Just give them a ring out of the blue and say, "Hi, I was thinking about you and I appreciate you. I just wanted to let you know." All of these things create real wealth. That is what we're about as a community. And I've saved the best one to last. What I would love for you to do is to look in the mirror and look at that incredible person being reflected back to you and say, "I appreciate you," and mean it. You're in this world for a reason, a good, positive. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video if you think it will help others. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers. If you're new to the channel, please reach out and say hi. I'd love to hear from you. For existing community members, I love reading your comments, especially how you interact and support each other. I think it's so beautiful. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, take care, and see you next time. Bye for now.